Hi guys, it's Peter. Road to being a millionaire together. Day four. Today's April 14, Tuesday. Tomorrow is my usual day off. Wednesday is usually my day off, so I'm pretty excited about that. And if you have a Wednesday off too, I'm happy for you too. Again, I might be all over the place. I have a little script here, mini script. So I'm gonna try to go in order. I watch video of myself too. Just when I think I'm talking smoothly, when I was watching it, I feel like I was all over the place, and I realize I repeat myself, so I apologize. Um, First thing first, always thank you to my wife who always help. I do not take this for granted, and uh, if and when I succeed here, I always try to tell her it's like 90% it was her. And I want to also thank Texas Roadhouse, actually. It's a steakhouse near where I work, and they always treat me so nicely, and it's so pleasant to go eat steak there. If you guys haven't checked it out and tried it, you guys should. It's called Texas Roadhouse in city of Corona, California. But I think it's a franchise for sure. So hopefully there is one nearby. If not, well, it's a good place. So I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna title this by the time you watch this. But initially, I wanted to title this "To All My Asian Brothers," but that sounds a little discriminating, so we'll probably change the title. And also, I apologize for the hat. I am a bit of traditional person, so I feel like I should take my hat off, but maybe I should actually. I'm gonna put my hair probably look very funny, but uh, I should have my hat off when I talk to you guys. Okay. Ooh, when I wanted to title this "To All My Asian Brothers," I was visualizing how, for many Asian immigrants, I feel like it's changing slowly, I think. But compared to many other races, at least for my generation and before, you was just like tiger moms, crazy traditional conservative. You have to be doctors, you have to be lawyers. Why? Have you wondered? Because when I was a kid, when I came here, like 20 years ago, when I was like 13, 14, I'm not sure why I have never questioned. Why do I have to be doctor? So I just want to tell you my personal story. Obviously, you're not me, but I think you could relate. Even if you're not Asian, if you grew up in a household where you have very strict parents, I think you could relate. And I suppose this message, this or video, are targeting towards parents, I think, mostly. And I'll tell you how I think as I got older, how it was linked to how I see the money and finance and wealth in my perspective and point of view. Okay, I think I have to start this chronological order. I think it will help me say things better and help you guys understand. I wasn't much of a good student when I was in South Korea. My older brother, he was super. I can't say smart. See, that's really wrong word to use. Smart. Just because he or she studies well and scores well in exam and gets good grade does not equate his or her intelligence. Okay. My brother was a good student. He's smart, but I'm not gonna say he was a good student because he's smart. No, that's wrong. But he was a good student. I wasn't. And when we're in Korea, my parents kind of gave up hope. Oh, Peter is not gonna study. He's not gonna study, and we were okay with it. And this is like we weren't even thinking about coming to America. We're in South Korea. Oh, Peter, just I was good at math. I'll be honest with you. I've always been good at math, but Everything else, ooh, especially reading comprehension, critical analysis, just bad, just bad. I remember just college. All my girlfriends they wrote my essays in college. So thanks to you. Just by the way, did not take that for granted. But yes, math was okay, but everything else, I was bad. I was not a good student. I am very, very sure I am not officially diagnosed, but I am very sure I have ADHD. And that could be genetic stuff. That could be, maybe I was malnutrition, maybe not much parental guidance, supervision. It's a lot of things, a lot of things. But the point is, I wasn't a good student. So my parents gave up hope that, okay, Peter is going to do something. Maybe he will learn skills or trades. So when we were in Korea, when I was at such a young age, like 11, 12, initially, oh, taekwondo, he's going to go for Olympics. There was initial conversation because I did that for a really long time and I was pretty talented about it because I practiced so much about it. And I will cover, if we have enough time, for sure tomorrow if we don't. A keyword is practice, and it really links to money. And hopefully, I remember enough to link that later. But I thought I was gonna just do taekwondo for life and go for Olympic, maybe just jump in some variety shows or whatever, open up my own shop. I thought or maybe sometimes I was in middle school at that time. I was like like I'm kind of artistic. Maybe I'll be in fashion or maybe like haircut or like makeup stuff surprisingly, but that's or chef, that's where I thought my future was, honestly. Nothing to do with education, uh absolutely not with a doctor, lawyer, engineer. No, none of that stuff. Then suddenly life happened. My family lost money for family reasons. Maybe I'll cover that later eventually, one day. And we had to go America. I didn't have choice. You might say you had choice, but do you really think I had choice? I was 13, 14, minor. Should I have just okay, bye, and just ran away from my family? Sure, that could be a choice, right? But it's a very unrealistic choice. Yeah. So I wouldn't say forced, but almost forced, came to America, and just immediately, suddenly everything changed. And boom, American immigrants as Asians who don't have money, you have to be doctor. Why? Like, why though? My parents were not rich. My grandparents were not rich. They, later I learned, they grew up learning, oh, you have to be doctor, lawyer, or engineer so that you could get a high paying job. So you could get high paying salary. That's what they know. I think that's what they thought. That's the right word. That's what they believed and thought. Is it true? But how do we know? I actually don't know. Do you know? We hear that they have good salaries, right? But did you actually see their paycheck? Did you see their bank account? Their income to debt ratio? Because as I got older, I realized through real life experience, yeah, they have a relatively good salary compared to other profession, except that we're missing how late on average they jump into workforce, how late they start making income. Let's not even forget how long it takes to practice, right? And how much debt it takes on average to become one. My parents didn't think about it, and they're more. They're more. My parents just didn't know any of those. How would they know? They are financially illiterate. I think, am I saying the right word? I hope. They're financially, I don't want to say dumb, just not educated. So they just thought and want to believe or believed, oh, MD, dentist, OD optometrist, or PharmD, anything health profession doctor, anything law degree, like lawyers are doctors too, if I'm not mistaken, or engineers. Yeah, that's the way to go for you. But you know that's not true. I know that's not true. Um, I might be wrong, but I heard this story once. The school was initially designed so they produce either good soldiers, depending on which country you live in, or either produce good employees. Have you ever wondered why you don't learn stock at school? Gold, it's called hedging, I think, hedge against inflation. Why not about real estate? Why not about assets? Why liability? Why don't teachers teach us students this stuff? Well, they don't know either most of the time. It's like almost we have a system where government doesn't want us to know. It's like they just want us to be clueless. So after years and years, I realized, oh, being a doctor is not the only way. But I came to America. Okay, suddenly I have to be a doctor, or they're like, you're not my son. Not exactly, but almost like that. So I actually studied with someone who has actually ADHD. It's not easy. If you have ADHD, you know it's not easy to just sit your ass down, just stare book for a long time, over and over and over again. I studied. I was pre med initially. Then, because I realized, after like taking a MCAT practice exam, and that was around the time when MCAT was transitioning from. Oh, MCAT is, by the way, medical college admission test. It's like a exam you have to take for students who wish to go medical school. I mean, they got to do a lot more stuff, but it's like an entrance exam, pretty much. I was around that time where MCAT was being like 3.5 hours to 4 hours. I'm sorry, it's been really long time to becoming 7.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't do that. I just cannot do that. And also, MCAT has a very hard critical analysis section, and I was like, oh yeah, mm-mm. Yeah, it's not for me. So I switched over to actually dental field, and I was pretty good at it. It was more multiple choice, less like free response question, less critical thinking, less um, you know, English skills required. And there is this section PAT called, oh, it's been so long, perceptual ability test. It's like where you see images like upside down, and I was pretty good at it. Like I was naturally good at it, so it was pretty good. But so I was pursuing that route, and I remember, I'll tell you, I was juggling being a husband and student. It was just implausible. It just didn't make sense. I'm just like, I am doing this, want to be a dentist, so I could be rich. I gotta tell you, I wanted to be a dentist so I could be rich. No other reason. And that was a wrong reason. That was profoundly wrong reason. And what's sad is I'm pretty sure many health professions out there became because of this reason. And maybe they're miserable, maybe they're not. But I think like you should become dentist because you're really passionate about it. Like you want to be a dentist because you want to be rich? I'm going to tell you you're wrong. There's so many other ways, easier, also ways you will find a more interested, passionate about to make money, be rich, be wealthy than being a dentist and be miserable. I learned that hard way. Um, sorry, I lost a train of my thoughts. Sorry. So yes, I was pursuing to be a dentist, and one night I remember waking up at 3 a.m. That was the usual time. I would go sleep at midnight, wake up at 3 a.m. to study. And I was looking at my ex-wife at that time, and I'm just studying. I'm like, I'm failing both. I'm failing as husband. I'm failing as student. So that's when I closed the book. I still remember, and I said, "This cannot be the only way to be rich." And I was right. It wasn't. But who knows? Yeah, maybe if I pursue that, maybe if I become a dentist, who knows? Maybe in some parallel universe, I am a dentist and I'm richer now. Who knows, right? But I am happy I made this choice. With that choice, I was able to fully focus on being better provider financially, mostly speaking, and fully supported my ex-wife to be a science teacher. She's a science teacher now, and I helped her. I'm not trying to be cocky. I can proudly and confidently tell everyone I helped her because I did. I really did. Like I paid for it. Like she didn't work becoming teacher. And I was working in the restaurant at the time as part time, and during the school process, and the restaurant became a full time because I stopped studying, and I, had bosses, many mentors and bosses, and they were all wealthy, and they're not dentists, they're not MD, they're not DO, but they're wealthy, and I was exposed more so about money. They were teaching me about money. They were showing me topic of real estate. They were showing me topic of stocks, gold. So I was able to learn these things. I was exposed finally about money. And I'll be honest with you, do not let anybody tell you. In most cases, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to become millionaire plus, W2 is most likely not the way to go. Unless you work like 30, 40 years consistently and you manage your money really well. Unfortunately, most cases I have realized, I have experienced, I have seen that W2 is not the way to go. Being rich and wealthy, financial term, is subjective. I think I cover that. But if we're only specifically looking at numbers like millionaire, 2 million, decamillion, I think not teacher. However, David Ramsey show did study. They did a study where most millionaires are like a teachers. And I think they're one of the top profession. And it was not because they make a lot of money. It sounded like because they manage money well, and it was a long, stable career they can do for a long time. 401k, pension, all those are being added up. But when we imagine millionaire, we imagine like supercar, big mansion, right? Usually teachers don't live like that, usually speaking. So if that's what you're aiming for, because I think I told you, I won 5,000 single story uh, primary residence. And I don't think being a teacher, I could pull that off. Maybe, but it will be hard. So I entered business with that mindset. But as I was working in the restaurant and meeting a lot of rich people, I have learned that the system that my parents were trying to enforce me, be a doctor, was not right at all. It could have been, if I was genuinely passionate about helping people in that way. Like I genuinely want to like heal people in that way. But I wasn't. And they weren't either. They were simply telling me to be a doctor so I could be rich. And I'm sorry, mom and dad, but you were completely wrong. So if you are a parents and you don't have much financial education, so you're telling your kids to be a doctor and lawyer, please, dear God, don't. I think first, see what kids are passionate about, what they are interested in. Okay, because you have a better shot, most likely, helping them to pursue what they like. Because when you are good at something, it's easier to make money off of it. Most cases. And you know how people are good at something? Most of the time they like it. Like I'm good at exercising because I like exercising, you see? Like if my buddy, hypothetical, let's say Brian, he's not good at exercising, then most likely he won't like exercising. So if there are parents out there, I think you want to really observe your kids. What are they have interest in? And most likely that is because they like it. And that is because they're actually good at it. And you want to kind of push them that way, assuming he or she wants to do that too. So I really just want to tell you, and I'm going to probably cover this again eventually in more organized way. Mm, yeah, being a doctor, lawyer, engineer should be because you are genuinely passionate about that career. It's not going to make you rich. If you want to be rich, you need to learn about money, not 11 organ systems. And you need to learn about money. You need to know how to manage your money. You need to know how to invest your money. And I am still learning a lot. But I am so happy at least at my 33 years age, finally I learned if I want to be rich, I need to learn money. And we're going to learn money together. So if you guys are um, like young age and you guys are in my shoes where your parents are telling you, well, you have to do this, and you kind of feel like you don't have a choice, do your research and try to convince them otherwise. You just want to do something you are going to love for a really long time. And surprisingly, many doctors and lawyers, they're not that rich. So thanks for watching, guys. And sorry if my video was messy today, but I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, let's be millionaire together.